In this next section of oppression, radical Anglo Christian America's war against Islam, we're going to now deal with the religious aspect of the radical Anglo Americans' agenda. And it has something to do with this right here.
In the 8th century, Muslims conquered Spain, Portugal, and France and controlled it for 700 years. They never mention this in history class, cause old faiths are threatened when you get the real lesson. Wars from Baghdad, Turkey, threaten European Christians, meaning the white way of life. Hence the crusades for Christ.
So yes, now you begin to further understand just a little bit more why there's so much animosity from the radical Anglo-American Christian against Islam, because to them they perceive Islam as a threat to what they uphold as God. They say that this man is God. Look at him. He's depicted as an Anglo white male himself. They say he's God. They say he's the son of God. You see? So if Islam becomes dominant, which will now, in Islam, we don't say that Jesus is God. We don't say that he's the son of God. So this obviously takes away this this item that they can use to imply the superiority of themselves over the rest of the people of the earth, which has been done for centuries. Even our brother Ahmed Deedat makes a point just the same. In his book entitled Desert Storm, Has It Ended? Christ in Islam, on page 30, he says, billions of beautiful pictures and replicas of this only begotten Son of God are put in people's hands. He looks like a European with blonde hair, blue eyes, and handsome features, like the one I saw in The King of Kings, or The Day of Triumph, or Jesus of Nazareth. Remember the actor Jeffrey Hunter? The savior of the Christian is more like a German than a Jew with his poly nose. So naturally, if the Son is a white man, the Father would also be a white man God. Hence, the darker skinned races of the earth subconsciously have the feeling of inferiority ingrained in their souls as God's stepchildren. And the brother Ahmed Deedat is exactly right with his assessment of the situation. You see, these images have been used by Westerners historically to imply that they are somehow closer to God than the other races of the earth, you see. So, of course, if Islam begins to become dominant, now the idea that Jesus is God, the Son of God, is taken down. And, of course, as well would be the images of him depicted as a white man. And then these can no longer be used, either consciously or subconsciously, to justify the so alleged superior position of the Western powers, you see, using this type of imagery, you see. So to them, Islam is a threat to their way of life. What way of life are they talking about? Obviously, they're talking about the Euro-Anglo-Western culture, you see. They claim it's a threat to their way of life. Meanwhile, they have been the people who have gone to various places on the earth, and they have been a threat to other people's ways of life. You see, they destroyed the way of life of the Native American, the South American, the African, the Asian. They have gone to places and changed the demographics, changed the languages of various people upon the face of the earth. You see, so they are the last people who should be talking about a threat to somebody's way of life. You see, but this is what's tied into that. This is the religious aspect of that, because Islam does not promote the idea that that God is white, that the angels are white, that Jesus is white, you see? And this is what the radical Anglo-American Christian uses as his motivation in his fight to defend Christianity, you see? But if they depicted Jesus, and if they, or actually saw Jesus how he really was, from the Middle East, I seriously doubt if Christianity would be so strong in the minds of the Anglo-American and Anglo-Western European. You see, I seriously doubt that. You know what I mean? If he was really, if they left him as he was supposed to be, a man from the Middle East, and if they depicted him as such, I seriously doubt if Christianity would be so strongly taken among the radical Anglo-American. I seriously doubt that if he was. You see. Now, before we wrap up, I'm sure some of the anti-Islamic haters are like, well, what about Arab Christians or ex-Muslims or whoever who have the same position as the radical Anglo-American bigots? I'm glad you brought that up. So let's deal with these people. These people are your typical, what my brother Malcolm X referred to in his day and time as the Uncle Tom, the sellout, you see? This is the person who is from the target group, who is willing to sell his or her people out in order to garner favor with the bigots themselves. You see, they think by selling out their own people they can garner favor, they can garner some type of position, and that's exactly what the case is going on. I have an article here from critical analysis from the website known as Axis of Logic. It's titled Misrepresenting Islam by Ghali Hassan, and he talks about these people. He says these people are they were recruited for the sole purpose of denigrating Islamic culture and Muslims. In reality, he calls them native informers, are fake Muslims, and some of them were never Muslim. You know, there's some Christian Arabs with an axe to grind against Islam. So he says using their distant backgrounds to serve their own interests and gain acceptance in their adopted countries. For example, you heard about this lady, Ayaan Hirsi, right? You see, she's one of the perfect examples of the sellout that finds out that no matter how much you try to sell your people out, in the end, the radical Anglo-European or American, he still thinks you're a nigga. He still thinks you're a sand nigga. In the end, they show you that they don't really like you anyway, as what happened to her. Many of you probably heard that that, as it says in the article, she was one of the most celebrated anti-Muslim native informers, and she was exposed. Okay, she was exposed. She was found out to have lied about her name, her age, and the way she obtained her refugee status. And later, it's interesting, she joined the right-wing conservative party in the Netherlands of the Dutch. You see. But then when they found out she lied, immediately they kicked her butt out. And now she resides in America. And now she's joined the radical Anglo-American Christian bigots and Zionists here in America to continue spouting her garbage about Islam. But according to the Dutch current affairs program known as Zembla, they had a documentary called The Holy Ayaan. So they found out that she not only lied, but also fabricated her past. It is clear there was no evidence of arranged marriage and domestic abuse, and Hirsi, or Hirsi, obviously her name, had a comfortable life before she arrived in Western Europe. You see? So when they found out and exposed her, they quickly turned on her. They quickly saw her as an illegal immigrant, and they wanted to kick her butt out, and they did so, and now she found friends. She found her friends in the radical Anglo Christian American agenda here. You see? So this is what I feel about these people, and this is the case about these people. We've already, have you seen my documentary exposing Walid Shubat as a fraud? You see? But this is how they talk. They turn against their people, and they say the most horrendous things about their own people. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Imagine me as an African American. Yes, I know that the African Americans, we have problems here in America, but is that the totality of our situation? Imagine me talking about my own people, saying, oh yeah, you know, the African American, they're just a bunch of dumb niggers, man, and you know, they don't know how to, you know, they're just a bunch of lazy, idiotic, dumb, low-down niggers. Imagine me talking like that. Imagine me having so much disdain and hatred for my own people. But this is how these people talk. This is how Wali Shubat, Gabriel, they talk about the Arabs as if the Arabs are some demonic, beast-filled, uncivilized, backward people. They speak about as if that's the entire the Arabs are like that in totality. You see, that's how you know these people are a bunch of frauds, when they speak like that. You see, and then you see the hypocrisy of the Anglo-American bigot. You see, because when Cindy Sheehan spoke out, when Rosie O'Donnell spoke out, when Charlie Sheen spoke out, these people don't want to hear that. You see, they don't want to hear you or some from amongst themselves speak out against the evil that they do. You see, when these people spoke out, they were quick to try to assassinate the character of Rosie O'Donnell, Cindy Sheehan, and Charlie Sheen. So these people, as you can see, are hypocrites. Now, I end by saying this. There was a poll taken back in October of 2004 which revealed that 1 in 4 Americans holds anti-Muslim views. The thing that struck me most, though, was that the poll revealed that those with the most negative attitudes towards Islam and Muslims tended to be less educated white males who were politically conservative. It also revealed that, however, African Americans held a more favorable attitude about Muslims than did whites. That did not surprise me. That did not surprise me. So I'm saying, my white Muslim brothers and sisters, you have a better chance of going to other whites and inviting them to Islam, so we can do something to end this racism and animosity between the groups, and therefore destroy the wicked agenda of the radical Anglo-American Christian.